Turn around.
Yeah. Okay.
You're going to be detained right now.
For what?
I'll explain to you right now.
Okay. I'm sorry.
2 and a 3-year-old, that's a safety hazard for them being inside that residence. So that's why we had a forced entry. I called you multiple times.
I understood it.
I announced myself as Officer Garcia, Devon Police Department. Please step out.
All right, y'all, here we go. We are dropping into a domestic disturbance call, and these are never simple. This is the kind of scene where everything looks normal for half a second, then one wrong move turns it into a fight, a medical emergency, or something way worse. And when kids are anywhere in the picture, the pressure on the officers is immediate. You are not just dealing with an adult making bad decisions, you are trying to keep little ones safe in real time. What I want you to do watching this with me is stay locked into the officer perspective. Listen for the commands, watch the hands, watch the spacing, watch how fast the tone changes when cooperation disappears. This is exactly why body cam footage matters, because it shows the gap between what people think police work is and what it actually feels like when you are walking into a home that could be chaotic, unpredictable, and emotionally charged. Right now, there is heavy scrutiny on how domestics get handled. Departments are pushing updated training around de-escalation and child welfare. And that sounds great on paper. This footage is where you see how hard that is in the moment. If you want more real-time breakdowns like this, hit subscribe and come with me on the next one.
Police Department, come in, step out. I have a domestic just occurred. I have visual of 141 inside the residence, looking out the window, not stepping out. Seems highly intoxicated. She's laying on the ground. How's it going, sir?
Okay.
What's going on today?
My daughter had too much to drink.
Okay.
You know, that's all there is to it.
She is right there on the window. She's laying down. She's not responding.
And I don't want her arrested or nothing if she ain't got to.
Well, right now we're investigating just a domestic. Yeah. I'm not sure what happened. We're here to investigate.
We were over at friends of mine's house, and
okay.
she's angry with her husband. Her husband put hands on her a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
And she's been pissed about it. And I understand all that. Baby girl, you got to either leave him or try it.
Where is he at?
He's at my friend's house. I left him over there. I wasn't going to bring him up in the middle of this shit.
Okay.
You know, because
her husband?
Yes.
Okay. He's the one that called us. We need to speak with him.
No, I called you.
You called?
Yes.
Okay.
And like I said, I don't want her arrested for nothing, but I decided she's...
Whose house is this?
It's hers.
It's hers? Okay. Because right now I'm a little concerned over her level of intoxication. She's just laying on the floor, not responding to us.
Yes, sir, but you know what? She might very well be playing coffee.
Well, she got up now, but...
She's probably scared shit.
Well, if it's her house, I mean, we can't really just make entry if she doesn't want us in there.
I know keypad. I know, I live here too.
You live here?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Oh, I did. I don't know more after tonight because I don't want to contact.
After tonight, you haven't lived here?
Yeah, after tonight, I won't be living here. All right. She's been on it for 2 weeks now because he put hands on her.
Okay.
You know, I told her then you should call the cops, made a report, you know, had it documented the whole 9 yards. She said no, she didn't want to. I said, okay, well then, you know, you're going to have to either leave him or forgive him, one of the two. You can't keep bringing it up and being mean to him. Well, she got really vocal and a little handsy with him. My friends told me, Donnie, you got to take her home. She said, you know, I can't have her up at my house like this here, acting like an idiot. And, you know, the cops are going to get called. I said, all right. I said, no problem, I'll take her home. Well, she didn't want none of that. That's when I got the dog shit smeared in my face and, you know, walked a couple times. But then, you know, it ain't no big deal. She didn't hurt me. It just, you know, it was aggravating.
So she threw what at you?
Dog shit.
Dog shit? She still has one right there.
Yeah, I still got some right there. And, you know, and I told her, Cassie, you're embarrassing me in front of everyone. I said, just, you know, let's get in the truck. I'll take you to the house. We'll sleep it off. Everything will be okay. I was surprised y'all didn't pull me in the middle of town because she was out the goddamn window screaming at the top of her lungs. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't want to live no more. I don't want to be here no more. I told her, Cassie, just stop and let us get you home. You go in the house, lay down, and sleep it off. I said, well, she wasn't allowed me.
Guess he was the one that called for this whole argument.
Got, you know, where
daughter's in here. She was laying down by the window. She looks really, really intoxicated. She lay down on the ground and she didn't move from there. I just look right now. She got up and have her come out so we can talk to her.
Yes, sir. I think. I don't know if she's got a phone on it, but nothing else. Is she in that bedroom right there?
She's right there.
Is she watching us?
Yeah.
She's probably pissed as hell at me right now. But I tried to tell her. Stop. Cassie Jean. Cassie, baby. Cassie. Oh, that's nice. Where's your mom at, baby boy? Is she sleeping?
Well, now,
Yeah, she's out.
there's kids there,
You want
and
me to go in and because I know, like I said, I know the keypad and all that.
so now, I mean,
Yeah,
this thing is changing up because there's a kid there. She's highly intoxicated.
Yes, sir. And she hasn't touched baby. She's been, nothing but perfect with them.
Yeah, but they care for the baby right now. That's what my concern is right now.
Well, that's why I'm here. I was supposed to, but I didn't realize she was. Do you want me to break the storm door, and then I can just open up the keypad? Yeah, I can just take the door. I can just be able to. Yeah, I can just take the door off, later on. But right now, we can bust this glass door. I can do it.
I'll do it right now.
Just y'all be careful with it. Oh, you piece of crap. No, there's no way. I mean, I just used that plane code just about 5 hours ago.
Cool.
So as they come up on this house at night, you can feel that weird fog already. The talking is rapid and scattered, and the officer has to figure out in seconds if this is intoxication, mental health, or both. And here is the part people miss. Domestics are one of the most dangerous calls, not because everyone has a weapon in their hand, but because the environment is uncontrolled. Unknown rooms. Unknown people and kids who can appear in a doorway at the worst moment. With all the scrutiny, lately agencies are getting hammered either way. If they hang back and a child gets hurt, everyone asks why police did nothing. If they push in and it looks rough on camera, everyone calls it excessive. That is why you see officers default to securing the space first. And when that glass gets broken to make entry, that tells me they are prioritizing welfare. You do not force a door on a casual argument. You do it because someone inside might be in real danger.
Police department. Cassie, come on, don't make this work, please. Watch them, please.
Cassie, come on. Step out. Step out.
Come on, kid. What's the problem?
Come here.
I got you.
How are you? What's your name?
My
Can you go over here for me, please? Step out. Turn around.
Yeah. Okay.
around for me.
I don't mind being arrested.
You're going to be detained right now.
For what?
I'll explain to you right now.
Okay.
Glass, okay?
I love you, Dad.
Step out here, okay? Watch out right there. Watch your step.
I'm
Hold
not.
on, let me open the door. Let me open the door.
Yeah. That's a lot happening.
We'll walk to this unit over here, okay?
Yeah. That one right there?
Right here. That one right
Okay,
there.
yeah.
I'll talk to you right now.
What am I getting charged with?
Well, I'll let you know right now.
Okay.
Okay, one of them. Well, right now. So the reason why we made entry, okay? Go ahead and stand right here.
Right
Right there.
Right.
So the reason why we made entry, okay? I'm Officer Garcia. I'm with the Dane Police Department.
Deming Police
Yes.
Department? Okay.
So one of the concerns is you're highly intoxicated, okay?
Yeah.
Whenever you were in there, I saw your droopy face. I saw that your well-being was
I
highly
was
intoxicated.
Not where I wanted to be. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were highly
I understand.
intoxicated. There's 2 kids inside the residence, a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old, okay?
No, there's not a 5-year-old.
How old are they?
My kids are 2 and 3.
2 and 3. So you got a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old inside the residence, okay?
Yes.
Our concern is their well-being, okay?
Yeah. No, my kids are
You
okay.
intoxicated right now.
And I don't like being
So let me explain why we're
I
here, okay?
understand.
So with
I'm
you
so
being highly
sorry.
intoxicated, you cannot take care of those kids right now.
the way that
Okay.
I should. Yeah.
The way that you should,
Yeah.
okay?
I'm sorry.
2 and a 3-year-old, that's a safety hazard for them being inside that residence. So that's why we had a forced entry. I called you multiple times.
I understood it.
I announced myself as Officer Garcia, Devon Police Department. Please step out.
Yeah, and I was really scared and I didn't understand what was going on because I was like, what the heck?
Do you have any weapons on you right now?
No,
No?
absolutely
I'm just going to do a
not.
quick pat down on the side of your pockets, okay? What's this right here? Your keys? I'm going to get this out, okay?
It's nothing.
Is that okay if I get it out?
Go ahead.
We'll talk to you right now, okay? Go ahead and take a seat right there. Stop 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 right there. Go ahead and face forward,
I
please.
did nothing bad. I promise.
Face forward, please.
Yeah.
Lean forward real quick.
I do what you have to do.
All right, I'm gonna read you some Miranda rights, okay?
Okay, I already know them.
I want you to.
understand them, and I'm okay with it. Can you just-
Hold on, I'm gonna read them to you first, okay? I need to read them to you by law, okay? You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say will be used against you in court of law. You have the right to talk to a lawyer and have him or her present with you while you are being questioned. If you can decide at any time to exercise these rights and not answer any questions or make any statements, okay? Do you understand the rights I have read to you? Okay. Okay. So
A little more, a little more.
I'm just gonna put your 22 on the back, okay?
Yeah. Can you get my hair out of my mouth?
Is that good?
No, a little
Okay.
bit more. A little bit more. I'm not trying to be.
You don't have anything in your mouth right now.
No, I don't. I don't have anything.
No, I know, but your hair. Okay,
It's
so
just my hair.
okay, Cassie. So
Sorry.
we responded here in reference to a domestic, okay? A domestic that happened on the
Is
east
there
side
some
of.
way that you can like wipe my face?
I can't do that right now. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Take a breathe. Long breath, so that way I can talk to
really
you.
don't understand it, and
I'm gonna explain to you everything
I
that's
just
going
want-
on right now.
Okay.
Just give us. I need you to breathe for me, okay?
okay. I'm trying to.
Just relax for a little bit.
Okay. Okay.
You kicked him in
Well,
the face.
not on purpose.
You kicked
not
him on
to
the
hurt
face.
him. Not to hurt him.
So
I was just
why did
trying
you
to
start
go
kicking?
home.
Why did you start kicking?
Well, because I'm drinking and I want to go home, and I didn't think anything of it. I didn't think it was a big deal. I just
So you
thought-
started kicking
Well, I was
because you were
just trying
drinking?
to go home. I didn't think anything of it. I didn't think me kicking was like hurting someone.
Well, you did
know
hit your
that.
dad in the face, and like I said,
and
you
I
put
didn't
dog
know
poop on his
that
face.
it
He still
was
has dog
hurting
poop right
him,
there.
and I didn't know that.
Okay.
I just wanted to go home and go to bed, and
Okay. So why were you and your boyfriend arguing today? Is it your boyfriend, husband, or what is he?
he's my husband.
Man, that moment they step into that pitch black house hits different. No power means no visibility and no normal cues. Every closet, every corner is a question mark, and the officer is trying to keep a calm voice while his light is the only control he has. Then they find her tucked in with the kids, and you can feel the whole mission tighten up. This stops being about adult drama and turns into child safety in real time. And yeah, cuffs look harsh next to toddlers, but that is also the fastest way to stop the chaos from spilling onto those kids. What people do not realize is how much the last month of scrutiny has pushed agencies into more child welfare-focused protocols. Secure the caregiver, separate the children from the instability, get medical eyes or social services involved fast. Because when a parent is intoxicated like this, the risk is not just neglect. It is wandering off, accidental injury, or a kid getting caught in a fight they did not start.
He's your husband. Okay.
Yes.
So why were you and your husband arguing today?
We were arguing because we were not in the same understanding.
Okay.
You know?
What kind of understanding was that?
We were just not getting along.
You guys weren't getting along, so that's what started the argument?
Understanding.
Any medical history? Anything like
No,
that?
I have nothing. I'm okay.
Okay.
I'm just a little freaked out.
Okay. Put a step out for me.
Let me try to make it. Here. I don't want to be here.
Let me close the door. I'll walk straight over here.
Really fast.
And you're gonna stand inside that stall, right? Do you have your camera with you by any chance?
Oh, yeah.
Because mine is all broken. No, go over here for me, on this side.
Right here?
Go ahead and stand right there in that little box and then face this way, okay? Stand right there for me.
Do I have to sleep in there?
Oh, you're not gonna be here. You're gonna be here while I do my paperwork. After I'm done doing my paperwork, then you're gonna go in there.
Oh my god.
Face the wall. Face the wall.
And then it gets quiet in that way that always feels heavy. Not calm, just contained. Watching her in the car and hearing that stream of disconnected talk is one of the most telling parts of the whole encounter. It is not just anger anymore. It is not just a bad attitude. It is a mind that is sliding around, and the officer is stuck doing two jobs at once. He has to keep her from spiraling while also driving a rolling jail cell safely through town. That is a weird pressure civilians do not think about. You cannot argue with her. You cannot tune her out. You still have to watch traffic and still have to stay ready for the moment she decides to kick the door or slip cuffs or suddenly claim an emergency. And I'm watching the officer keep his tone even. He is not matching her energy. He is not taking the bait. That matters because this is the part where it is easiest to get sloppy. The house is behind you. The adrenaline starts draining. People start thinking the danger is over. But transport is where a lot of ugly stuff happens. False accusations, sudden medical issues, headbanging, threats, spitting. That last little burst of chaos when the person realizes this is real and they are actually going to a cell. When they get to the station and those cuffs come off, you can feel the entire posture of the situation shift. It is still serious, but it is structured now. Bright lights, cameras everywhere, controlled space. That is exactly why officers want to get someone like this out of the living room and into a setting where there are witnesses, procedures, and medical help if they need it. People hear station processing and think punishment. Half the time it is risk management. It is documentation. It is making sure the story is locked down while it is fresh, and the person cannot wander back into a volatile environment and restart the whole cycle. And here is the part that sticks with me. The officer is dealing with a grown adult who is clearly not operating at full capacity. But the real victims in this kind of call are usually off camera once the scene settles. Those kids do not get to clock out. They do not get to leave the house mentally when the patrol cars pull away. If mom is intoxicated and combative, and the home is unstable, the kids are the ones left carrying the tension and trying to predict what version of their parent is coming next. That is where the new child-focused protocols people have been talking about lately actually show their value. Not in a press release. Right here in the boring procedural stuff. Getting names. Making sure another responsible adult is present. Calling for the right outside help. Creating a paper trail that child services or the courts can act on if this is a pattern. The public usually only reacts to the big dramatic moments. But the boring steps are what protect kids weeks later when somebody tries to minimize what happened. Now I'm going to be fair. On camera, even basic control can look cold. A tired mom in handcuffs and an officer guiding her through a doorway is not an image people like. But the footage shows why this job is impossible to do in a way that looks pretty. Officers are not walking into a polite conversation. They are walking into a home where emotions are high, stories are messy, and the person they need to manage is impaired and unpredictable. Sometimes safety looks like taking away choices for a little while. From a community trust angle, this is exactly the type of call that gets judged in extremes. One side says police are too aggressive. The other side says police do not do enough. The truth is the only way trust survives is if the public can tolerate that domestic response is not a single moment. It is a chain of decisions: entry, control, separation, assessment, transport, documentation. Miss one link and the whole thing snaps later, and the people who pay are usually the kids. If you want another example of how fast these home calls can flip and why officers stay keyed up even when it looks like just family drama, check out the other video on this channel where police end up pulling a mom and her child out of a house after the husband goes into full destruction mode when he is not getting his way. Different details. Same theme. The uniform is walking into somebody else's storm and trying to get the innocent ones out alive. At the end of this one, I am left with respect for the officers keeping it controlled without turning it into a spectacle. They do the hard part. They take the heat. Then they hand the situation off to the next layer of the system and hope the kids get a safer path than what they started with tonight.